Hi everyone, my name is Michael. As a child, I loved to visit my grandparents on a ranch near Houston. For us young boys, it was a real adventure every time. Vast amounts of free land, wildlife, and even the scorching heat could not stop us from looking for adventure. We made traps for birds, caught armadillos, and even tracked coyotes. And what was the most important there was the indescribable sense of freedom without parental control. Looking at us, our grandparents remembered their childhoods and were not as strict as our parents. But there was one thing that they forbade us to do. Never, under any circumstances, go northwest. You can play anywhere, but not in that direction, they said. At first, we did not see any point in saying this, since there were already enough space for us to play. But every year, the interest around that place grew, and we noticed how our grandparents were quietly talking about something and pointing in the direction where we were forbidden to go. The parents of the neighboring boys behaved in the same way, and this created a lot of different rumors among the kids. Someone thought that there was a secret base of the US Army, and someone else thought that a maniac lived in that direction who cut up his entire family into pieces. Years passed. We got older, but the desire for explanation and the thirst for adventure only intensified. So over the time, an initiative appeared amongst the kids who wanted to explore the forbidden area. At the age of 14, I headed our new group and coordinated all activities. And so one early morning, we went on the expedition. Pretty soon, according to our calculations, we were in the restricted area, but we did not come across anything interesting. Some bushes, a couple of shy coyotes. Finally, somewhere in the distance in the lowlands, a ranch appeared. I expected to see a destroyed house like the ones in horror movies, but there was nothing special about this ranch. The ranch featured a rather large, well-looked-after house, but I wouldn't say it was chic. The house was surrounded by a greenery and various buildings such as barns and small pavilions. Horses were grazing nearby in large numbers. We immediately began speculating. Someone was still convinced that this was a disguised secret CIA base. Someone suggested that it might be a ranch of some celebrity, where they were hiding from the paparazzi. Versions were getting more and more extraordinary, so I decided to continue my expedition and find out what this place actually was. Almost every day we went to the mysterious ranch and mapped it from different angles. During this time, we found out that only 8 servants lived on the ranch. These were 2 watchmen, a plump cook, a thin laundry maid, and 2 horse keepers, a father and a son, 1 male gardener and 1 female one, presumably a husband and wife. During the time we spent observing the ranch, not a single car passed by, and the road leading up to the ranch was always empty. It all seemed like an ordinary ranch of some rich man who forgot about it and did not visit his hard-working servants, who worked day and night in anticipation of his arrival. After some more search, we finally came across a gate that stood on the long, winding road leading to the ranch. There was a large inscription on it: "No entry." This meant only one thing. The ranch was not what it seemed at first glance. And then there was another odd thing. Someone else lived on the ranch. He never appeared in the courtyard, but there was one window in which the lights never turned off, even at night. We knew it was another person, and we really wanted to find out who it was. But then our big group began to become smaller. The father of one of the boys was offered a job on the other side of the country, and they moved. The grandmother of another fell ill, and the family decided to move in with her for a while to look after her. Another one accidentally let his parents know what he was doing. We learned this from him, and he said that there was a terrible scandal. And the next day, the whole family left in a hurry, and the house was immediately put on sale. Such a reaction from adults insanely scared the remaining guys in the team. And everyone, except me, decided to leave so that nothing bad would happen. I was left alone, but decided that I would persist till the end and find out the secret of the ranch and why the adults were so afraid of it. All I had to do was get inside and find out who was always in that room. I made myself a camouflage suit, prepared a rope, wire cutters, a flashlight, and other things. I painted my face in war paint and began to study the map. I planned everything. From what I had observed, all personnel had stable routes, and it was easy to think all over possible moves and off-the-road routes. But the closer the date of the operation was, the more worried I became. Doubted to take it further, but the plan seemed very well planned out, and I reassured myself that everything will work out. And so the X hour has come. Even before dark, I was at the ranch fence. Here, the local coyotes dug a hole under the fence, through which I got behind the first row of the fence. Then, there were 2 more fences. I got through one of them with wire cutters. The other one turned out to be much harder to get through than it looked. I had to urgently change the plan and look for a spot where I could quietly climb over it. And I did it! I hit the ground hard, and I was afraid to make any unnecessary moves, so I listened. Now, My heart was ready to jump out of its chest, but no one heard me. Moving carefully through the yard from one bush to another, I approached the house, walking around from behind it. I found an emergency exit. Then I had to act on the spot. Since I did not know the location of the rooms and hallways of the house, I knew roughly where to go. The interior of the house was simple. Suddenly, I found myself in a dark, long corridor. I realized that this led to that very room. I began to move carefully, step by step, towards my aim. Right at that moment, the street lamps turned on outside, lighting the spaces dimly. I saw that it was filled with portraits of some people in wigs and frills. Oh, these are our presidents. There was Flankin. And here's Truman. I reached for the door handle. I opened the door and saw an elderly man in a wheelchair in the middle of the room. Well, you got to your goal? The old man smiled and laughed sweetly. His hands were shaking. I realized that he was sick. Yes, I answered. That's how it was. If we had met earlier, I could have made you the chief of CIA. Yes, the president was in front of me, but he looked old. He seemed much younger on TV. Why are all the adults afraid of this place? Rumors, the old man smiled. They think I'm crazy and give orders to shoot and kill, but I'm not crazy. I'm just sick. Agents tell me everything that's going on, and I was informed about you the very first day and wondered what you were up to and how far you would go. For one of you, it didn't work out very well. When he told everything to his parents, I sent an agent to explain that you are being looked after and nothing bad will happen. Apparently, he was misunderstood. But here you are. For some reason, from the very beginning, my bet was on you. My feeling of pride was ready to break through the ceiling at any moment. Suddenly, a strong beam of light shot through the window. But a moment later, I heard the sounds of a helicopter. At the same moment, special forces rushed into the room, and a second later, I found myself lying face down on the floor. When everything was under control of the special forces, a man in the business suit confidently entered the room. He immediately approached the president with the words, "John," and patted him on the shoulder like an old friend. He looked 10 years younger. "I see you found some entertainment for yourself," he asked the president, and his gaze fixed on me. "I've been reported about you, boy." Then I began to get confused in what was happening. They put me in a chair and the man said, "You probably thought this was an old man was the president. No, this is the president's double. That is mine." And only then I noticed an incredible similarity, which I did not notice at first due to the age difference. He did his job well. The double is used in situations where you just need to be at an event and wave your hand to the journalists and spectators, while the real president is busy with more serious business. I personally attended all important events for this country. Don't you worry. For the service, John deserves a calm, peaceful life. But due to an accident, he was left all alone. And there is also this disease from which he grew old. But we've always kept up with his life here and even knew about your little adventure. I have wanted to visit him for a long time. And then a reason for that turned up. Couldn't believe my eyes. I looked from one to the other and back and forth. "Well," continued the real president, "you know too much and we have to kill you." A lump rolled to my throat after these words. "Joking!" The real president laughed. "You'll just have to sign an NDA." And I believed him at first. And yes, I will personally help you enroll in the military intelligence corps. You perfectly demonstrated enough of yourself. The country needs such people. This is how my life changed dramatically in just one night. The moral is simple. Always go towards your goal and never give up no matter what. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe to the channel.